I went to the School of Architecture in Bombay, JJ, by chance. In a business community, usually education has no priority. Priority is you just get involved with the skills. But in that workshop, I was fascinated by wood and the shavings and the smell and making something, and I was trying to make attempts. But that was something which I discovered recently. What must be the origin of my becoming an architect? Or why did I become architect? Because so many people asked and I was not sure. So when this teacher says that there is an architectural college in Bombay, why don't you join there? Because you are good in science and math, you are good in drawing, and you should do that. It's a good line. You can even do interiors for your family or make money. It's a good profession. So I had no acquaintance of Bombay, and here this teacher is telling, so I decided to say, okay, I'll go. Never in my life I have been conscious of saying yes or no, even now. When I landed in Bombay, one of the chaps says, look, I had to find a room. So he says, I am staying not very far, called Sardar Graha. So I went and met that gentleman, and he says, you pay 70 rupees, but you will be given tea twice, 2 food twice, etc. I said, no, but 1 bed. Below that level, somebody else was staying, so I met that gentleman called Kanere, Hari Mukund Kanere. When it came to 4th year, this chap was telling me, I am going to London, 3rd year. He had married. He says, I have finished my course, but I want to appear for the RIB in London. So maybe you should come to London, because at 70 rupees it's good enough for you. You stay with me for a while. My family, everybody came to the docks, First time I am from my community going out. Recently my cousin's daughter found a newspaper cutting of 1951, and she put it in acrylic and she gave me that, the first journey. And in London I went, and then I stayed with Kanere, and then I stayed in the pension where there were a lot of architects. The Vaidya was staying there. Other architects from Bombay were staying there, students, and some had having jobs. My teacher also was there doing planning. So there, this Thakure's cousin, he had appeared for the RIB and he got a job. So one day he says, I found this advertisement that there is a congress of, the Siam Congress is there at Hoddesdon. At that place, I meet that Samper. A chap comes and meets me there, and he says, you are an Indian. So he says, I am from Corbusier, and we are doing this work. What is Chandi? Chandigarh, what does this mean? So I said, Chandi is the name of goddess, but it could be a village name. So I asked him, can I join Corbusier? He says, yes, we have nobody there, and if you are an Indian, it will be very useful, but write in your handwriting. So I go home to the house, and I tell my friend that this is what has happened. He says, you must go, you must go. I was not sure. I wrote to my brother. He says, don't ever go to Paris, terrible place. There will be women, and you will have to eat meat, and you will drink wine, and there is no money. And then I landed there, and I dragged the bag and went up that long corridor and went up that staircase, and I find Corbusier's name. First of all, I wondered why that 35 Rue de Sèvres looked like that big building with a door. And then you walk through the concierge, and she sees an Indian. There was never an Indian before. And then I will go up there, and when I go up, I saw the photographs. It's very interesting studio, but amazing. It is actually a cloister on the first floor with windows. And then I became like a Frenchman, traveling, doing things, but I had no connection. Slowly I reduced even my letters to my brother. So it was like living all by yourself, not knowing at all where you would go, what you would do, submerged. Then I got stomach problems, colitis. So Corbusier says, you go to the doctor. I went to the doctor. He says, yes, it is there, so you have to now eat this food and all that. And that was the time I remembered again, my house and family. So I told him, now I want to go. In Corbusier's office, I saw he was a planner, he was an artist, and he was writing. I said, India, and then 1947, you come from that generation where you say you have to do something for the country. And that is how I got into the school. I never took any far. They gave me 800 rupees, which I always gave back. Then I told them, and I told my wife, if I had not come here, that Shodhan house would not have been there. If Shodhan had not the friend who was your cousin, I would not have met you. It was our rendezvous place. Then if I had not met Gideon in Corbusier's office, he would not have recommended me to Graham Fellowship. If Corbusier had not written a letter for the Graham, incidentally these letters are here, then I would not have gone to USA. If I have gone there and taught at MIT and Washington U because I met Bucky Fuller because I was in Ahmedabad, if that had not happened, I would have not started the school. And if that school was not there, I would not have done all this work. And today what I am is because of all those things. So the credit goes to that teacher who told me to go to architecture, that Kandhere who took me to London, Thackeray who talked about Corbusier Congress, Samper who took me to Corbusier, and then Corbusier made me, I spent time in Chandigarh 1 month. I was a special architect there to do Governor's Palace. And they asked me to continue, but I didn't like those people and the bureaucracy and whatnot. So I left. So all these events, when I look back, I just wonder how come that they happen. There's something else which works. And therefore for me the story is very simple. Allow life to take its own course, and then you will be taken where you are supposed to go. Don't argue. In the School of Architecture, I never took salary that I got 800 rupees. I never took it home for all those 20 years when I was in the beginning of my career. It's a temple. How can you do it? How can you take money from the temple?
I think it's wonderful what Doshi has achieved as well. I mean, that's the best school in India, and it started from scratch. And it has its educational component, and I think there were people like Bernard Cohn and Rasu Vakil and many others who made huge contributions. But the essential contribution, I think, was the bridge between Doshi and Kasturbai Lalbai. And people don't realize how important that is. Without that school wouldn't have happened without Kasturbai's backing. I mean, you have to be a bit of an empire builder and have somebody backing you to do something as marvelous as Sept. you know, and a lot of the credit absolutely goes to Doshi because regardless of what else happened, it's he who was the basic driver of that project.
His ability to kind of intuitively respond to painting, to visuals, to a landscape, to other architecture, and then to convert those sort of intuitive readings into a narrative that would just engage a young student is absolutely incredible.
After my parents and grandparents, if an individual has had a role to play in my life, it's Doshi.
He's able to talk to any level of person. He can talk to a peon or a driver for 2 hours at a stretch, and he can talk to a minister as required. And he's aware of all these levels of society. That combined with this rigor, I think gave him a certain distinct standing in the way in which he looked at architecture.
I've learned from Doshi the way to be yourself, always.
The thing about him is that he doesn't carry himself as a persona. He just be with somebody. Now, to my mind, a cultured person is one in whose company you feel neither inferior or superior. That is Doshi.
My career has evolved over time, and one of the most significant beginning was with Indology. So Kasturba Lalbhai said, I have a lot of manuscripts which have come from this Jain Muni, Jin Vijayji Maharaj and Punya Vijayji Maharaj, and they are to be preserved. So why don't you do this project? And that time in '58 I was going abroad. I had got this Graham Fellowship with my wife. She says, if you are going to USA, go and see Duke University. And they have a place for preservation of monuments, these manuscripts. So please have a look at it. And I remembered that in Patan and other places, they were always preserving monuments in the basement. So I said, doesn't matter, we will make a basement and then we will make this place. She says, that's fine, then it is good. Which means one of the first time, it is by beginning, I began to understand what climate can do. 1960s. When the opening was there were people standing in the balcony, sadhus and others. The water was overflowing from the terrace tank down in the pipe and came to that gargoyle which you see there, both sides, and so it looked like really a boat in water. And this is how this building was visualized, and this was the time it looked like that. So it is not only the shading of the light, etc., sunlight, it is not cooling only, but it also became part of the water and the floating area. So if you see the profile on the side, you will see the shape which goes like this, lifted up. In Tange's work, I found concrete used as wood. I said, that's not a bad idea, we should do really concrete like wood. And the services can go into the column. So the H-shaped column came, one side drain pipes for the rain waters, other side electricity, and then large span, and then this structure, concrete structure. So that's how this building happened. It's the first one. I don't think many buildings are like this, where the upper balcony little pieces are all precast. In fact, the detailing is very much like wood. It's one of the best detailed buildings that way. Very well done, in a sense. It has a quality, which is very different. It stands apart. I was new. I had no background. I was with my wife. Why, you talk about this, the museum building when we was supervising, one Mr. Kinney from Bombay, engineer, said that this cavity wall cannot be built like this. So he says, why don't you change it to load-bearing wall? I refuse. So the Katawala, the engineer, says, why don't we call Mr. Doshi? So he called me. I said, no, I don't think I would like to change that plan. You can't change it. So then they says, well, then we will get somebody else. I said, then I'm resign. I resigned the job which was giving me 250 or 400 rupees per month. I had already completed 2 jobs. I was only getting 150 rupees, 65 rupees was rent. I had colitis, I had to go to the Bombay and get doctor's medicine. I had no money to live. So practice starts like this. I used to bicycle almost 18 to 20 kilometers minimum. From there to Shahi Bagh, to come back to Milonas, go to museum and Shodhan house and back home. Every day. So difficulties were there, but because I had not thought about, you see, it's a question of when you have a role model, you have a problem. You have comparison, then you have a problem. When you think that this is the only way you can survive, then you have a problem. And when I went to Paris, Corbusier did not pay me for 8 months. And I had hardly any money. I had very little money. I went against my brother's wish to Paris. I was not able to speak. 8 months with olive and cheese and bread, that's all. Crying. So this is how the practice was, and I was having colitis that time and I was having pain. But something had happened, I still don't know what it is. And that's what keeps me going even today. That this idea that no, I have to do something which is right, what happens if he asks me a question? You see, Corbusier told me once, which I think is important, that remember there is somebody standing behind you who is better than you, and you are answerable to him.
The little I know about Doshi's past, inside that man is a sensibility that combines heroism with modesty. You can't help feeling that he truly cares. He has a deep sensibility for the people that might live or work or occupy a building. He's thinking about the humanity of the problem, rather than the grandeur of his own ego.
So Ramaswamy says, I am interested in small scale people. So I want this made, for small scale, and therefore the buildings have to be such that everybody feels at home and not really awed by buildings. I said, I will make this place gardens. And I told Ramaswamy that we should have buildings. In fact, the board I met, I said, I will only make 3-storied building so that they are in stone and eventually they will disappear. So one of them says, but when they disappear, which means there will be no architecture. I said, more or less not architecture, but you will experience what you experience in Madurai temple. Then they kept quiet. See, reference helps that time. Because they cannot say Madurai temple is not good. So even as an architect, you have to be very quick, in answering them. In Bangalore, you won't find forest like this anymore.
Oh, yes.
It's gone, huh? I made the drawing, and I forget the name of the then a very nice person who was their administrative officer, and I made a drawing, and now you have to approve the budget. So pergola is between the two buildings and there is only column structure. So basically it is an empty corridor. So I calculated all the areas and then I got the budget approved, but the plan showed the pergola. So when the building started working, the man says, I should remember his name because he was the one. He says, why are you worried? It is approved in the plan, no? So you show as approved in the plan and go ahead. So it happened.
If you look at Mies's work or Korb's work or Aalto's early work, actually their training is neoclassical and it's all about composition, the creation of compositional space. And I know, Doshi is obviously much younger than them, but you can't help feeling that his training gave him an understanding of the nature of composition, but also the benefit of history, so that you feel that his work is reaching back into our sensibility, not only about how things combine to where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, but also recalling space and material and simplicity that takes us back into eras before modernism, so we connect with things that are timeless and they have a gravitas and significance that is much greater than us as simple individuals today.
Actually, if you really go back to your childhood and think about the childhood and say that this is how I enjoyed my life and I was always wanting to be outside with my friends. And then this Kannadi was talking that I don't remember my college days, I remember my school days. The reason is there are no places given at a higher education like the child would use.
The last thing I would say, in my consciousness about our visit to the Management Institute, was the breathtaking simplicity with which everything was achieved. That I sort of call it architecture without adjectives. So our visit was humbling to come across this building that did everything that we could ever want to do in building ourselves, and yet here it had been done decades before and we hadn't really experienced it.
I am not an architect, that's the problem. For me it's a search. It's only search. Search for that unknown which I have not known. Neither I know how it will manifest. That's actually the essence of my work. It begins somewhere, ends somewhere, and in that process I grow and the work grows. And we both grow together. I was supposed to go and teach in Colombo. Examiner for Colombo. And I tell my wife, let's go to Colombo. Now, we land in Madras. That Srivatsav is staying there, so we stay with him. And I said, I want to go to Colombo. How do I go? He said, but do you have a visa? I said, no. He said, do you need to have visa? He says, of course. I said, what do I do now? And about a week was there, only 4 or 5 days. So I went to the embassy there and they said, no, you can't. You have to get to Delhi and all that. So after 3 days, they say, you can't get it. Then I tell him that why don't I go to Madurai and other place? So my wife and myself made 2 weeks of trip. In between, so many calls came from Sri Lanka, Colombo to here and back and forth, and they did not know where we were. And that was the time, was the best period. I saw Madurai temple and other things there, and Tanjore and others, because then I found proportions, rhythm, light, and same structure, but with variations. And you see these long corridors and these columns going up and courtyards. And one discovers this, but you are also observing. I am observing the people there, and some people are sad, some are happy, some people transform themselves, and you see people rolling. So ritual is another fascination that I have been having from childhood. Mahabharata, Ramayana, see, these are all a useful thing, because when you go back and you see these images, you ask questions, why the images are there, why it is like this, why the corridors shift like, but expansion. So that uncertainty, I discovered here, that incremental growth. So all these things came from these understandings of Indian life. See, India has always survived and celebrated via frugalness, and very intelligent way of using everything to the best things. For example, this dhoti is completely half naked, no? But it is a clothing but which has a great style, and it gives you all the air and whatnot. Look at Indian clothing. How comfortable it is, more comfortable than even the Japanese, because it works with climate, etc. Now look at the turban and a dhoti, and you go to the well and you can take out that long thing and you can take a little pot and go down and bring the water, or you spread it at night, or you cover yourself. How many ways you can use it? And I think this is Indianness. Indianness is ingeniously find several ways of using the same thing very efficiently. The lota which Charles James talked so much about, I think these are all Indian. Now, that is Indian mind. Indian mind is ingenious. Indian mind says, if I can do this, can I do something else? That's where we get confused also. But they will always say 1 plus, not just 1. In everything, look at the mathematics, look at language, look at everything else. There's always something added. Now that something added is that extra joy. And I think that is where the ingenuity is seen. Music, you look at it. Why, it should be compared with jazz only, and why not like this? How is it that it's time bound? But in time bound, each gharana can sing differently. Same notes, but you can play differently. Theatre, that whole theatre with Ram Leela, you are going in a cross like this, in 4 places, you find a king here and a ordinary fellow here and a ministers here and public here, and you go in time and space over a long time. You can do it in 20 minutes, you can do it in 2 months. How come? And you are formally separate, but informally you are close by. It's not centric. The Greek theatre is centric, focused. Indian plan is not centric. The whole idea is, if it is a sustainable building, it should use everything which is available from almost west. And all this is done by the local people. This is all done, I told them just do what you like. I gave them pieces, so they wanted, this is Amitabh Bachchan for them. So this is where you enter. Very small, inconspicuous entrance, not a royal entrance, no portico, nothing, a little courtyard. It's like a domestic entrance. And the entrance here is even like that, it's very simple. I was thinking, why should an office be like an office? Why should I not only have an office only for myself but close at 5? Why can't it become a public space? So you're talking about public and private, form versus formlessness, growth and other things, and yet it has to be a studio. And then you talk about partly above, partly below ground. All this happened. I think now you can shoot my granddaughter. Let us see my darling daughter. I had made this building by chance, the extension. That building happened because I had to make this into non-agricultural land. And so I had to find something. Yeah. So the neighbor had only curved sheets. So I said, overnight, let me make the curved sheets and make a plan. So I made a plan and I made the roof and I got my stamp. But then I said, my God, how nice this is. So always there are clues. We must be aware to use them. So you can get the sense of all these spaces. And these buildings insert into this, as if that this building is going in. It moves like this. And this is, you can see the old sample, and it's north-south. And then I get a very big garden here. Again, this is against Vastu. This is west, and this is south. So one Vastu chap came here and he saw this. He says, are you going to have some trouble? I said, no. He says, you never had any problem? I said, no. In fact, I have been successful. After a month, he comes back and says, you are right. This is where Dhirubhai Ambani's entrance is. This is Vastu. I said, why don't I make a village? And that's what I like, a tree, a garden, the steps. And that's how it began to happen. And then one day I made those arches and then became everything. And again, it has all the West products. It has China mosaic, which was never used before. It has Gaudi, it has Wright, everything is there. It is like a good food that you enjoy, which is done by the best chefs, but you are the one who is digesting this, and you have to convert that into your blood and your life. And what I do is only follow this biological order. Borrow everything and finally become yourself. And that Gandhiji's idea that, look, open the windows but see that your roof is not blown out. Your foundations have to be strong. So you have to be deep inside an Indian who is frugal, who can invent, who can take a chance, and who can starve. There is a student here from Stuttgart, who is working here, and I was talking her about Indianness, and she mentioned something very interesting. She says, Indianness is in riding in the bus or in the train. In the train, there are no windows which are closed. You are in a journey and the air is flowing all the time, everywhere, and you are partly inside and partly outside. I think that is India. And not only, but this way, physically, philosophically also. We are very ambiguous, more or less. I may come, I may not come. Consider every building that you do is a temple for God. Now imagine this concept. If you are doing a house, small house, and now you are given this idea that this is a temple of God, would you think miserably? Would you think at all miserably? No. You will say the man is poor, but it is his temple. So I have to find a way by which it gives him heightened experience. You are representing this God, so you are an emissary of that man, so you cannot see that he is abused by your mistake. Nobody actually likes misery, no. We make it misery because we are miserable. We are ordinary, so we give ordinary. Now, if you think you are representing God, one is temple for God. Now you are representing God. Would you try to be less generous? Would you do something which you, as a representative of God, you say, I cannot do, or my circumstances are not allowing me, because there is no circumstance left. For God, there is no wrong circumstance. So God will play the game. Housing, I have seen, observed that whatever I was doing was company townships. So they were restricted, then people would retire. But I remembered my childhood and my grandfather's house where it was always added on. And I saw also a lot of housing by housing board and others. Eventually they would cover the balconies, they would add extras, So everybody was doing this addition. And I wondered how those additions in the old city did not destroy the architecture at all. And yet they had all the things there to live for generations.
This is that so people are very nice over here, and trees, there are a lot of trees. Green plantation is there, and my grandmother is there, my brother is there, entire family is good.
એટલો ફ્લેટ બનાવી છે કે ઓલ ઓવર ઇન્ડિયામાં ફર્સ્ટ નંબરનો સુધારી ગયો એ અમે લઈ આવીએ કેટલા ઇનામો લઈ આવીએ
Open space, that is the best thing about it. Open
તમે આખી સોસાયટી જોઈ ખરી
spectrum. So we enjoy it very much.
So I was wondering, I said, if these people are going to be there, is there no way that we can make a new kind of plan where growth can take place and certain things will remain constant? So that has been my concern, because I remember Jaisalmer, I remember Udaipur, I remember old towns here, and I said, this is something which we don't talk of as architecture. Primarily, I don't believe in formal buildings. I believe in the formal buildings slightly modified. So addition, modification, changes become very important.
Uncle was Sarak Thakkar was architect from this School of Architecture.
Oh, I see.
So he told me that V. Doshi, he is considered to be one of the best in Asia. આપણે બા પેલા વી દોશી છે ને કાકા છે ને આર્કિટેક્ટ હતા ને કાકા એમાં વી દોશીની સ્કીમ છે વી દોશી જેમણે આ સ્કીમ બનાવેલી એ આર્કિટેક્ટ બહુ મોટા આર્કિટેક્ટ એશિયાના છે.
I knew one thing people normally don't change is the staircase and landings because they belong to everybody. The staircase actually adds to connecting the city, otherwise the margin and the setback means you are too far away. When you land near the road. So extending your arm is like shaking hands. So the building shakes hands and yet there is a privacy because the distance is quite big between the two houses. If you had no staircase, the houses would have come very close.
Actually, I use only one room and that is this. This is my block. So I come at night over here. I sleep here. I switch on the TV from here. Okay. So open driving theater is here. So I sit here and I watch TV at night. In the morning I do some little bit exercise. I do japa, I do prayer and whatever. Then I get on. Because if somebody requires, we give them without any rent.
Okay.
If somebody tells me that there is a marriage of my daughter and we need a house for our guest and whatever, so we give them. We do not charge anything. If some student comes and asks that I want to study for 1 year, then from morning to evening we give it to him. Okay, you can sit here, you can read, you can make it clean, no problem. So you can sit here for hours together. And and you do not need anything else. Just sit here, get your newspapers and read and see the people.
ये सोसाइटी देख के मेरा लड़का पहला बड़ा लड़का है वो पहला आया यहाँ पे और उनके मालूम हो गया कि बड़ी अच्छी है तो पापा को ले आऊँगा तो फिर मैं मेरा बड़ा बंगला था वो छोड़ के फिर यहाँ आ गया और मुझे यहाँ इतना अच्छा लगता है कि अभी बाहर नहीं जाएगा तो भी ऐसा लगेगा अच्छा आप लोग यहाँ घूमते फिरते हैं तो बहुत हो गया.
I said, now I will make different colors so that they will not like some colors and they will change even colors. So it will begin with changing of colors because in my other townships in Baroda and others, they had changed colors from bright colors to this ice cream, blue and white and all kinds of things were there. I said, well, let's see what happens. The reason is, I said, life has to be lived. It is not supposed to be regulated and they must enjoy it. Slowly they began to go on adding, adjusting. That means they learn to live, they learn to negotiate exactly like an old city. And I think from that point of view, it's a very important social phenomena that only 5% or less than 5% people have changed hands. That means that our social moorings as architects, if you want to think, that we must really look at housing as a place where the communities can continue to thrive over generations because they have the house as part of them, accommodating their life and changes. Hussain, I'm very glad that he mentioned that process is important. The end result is of no consequence because again he is highly part of the Indian philosophy here. He is from here. So he can only think about the process. Other people think of the end results. But actually the end product is not as exciting as the process is. How will you enjoy the food if you are not aware about how it was cooked and how everything was brought together and put together and done. I think this is very important. But we never have time for this. We are actually interested in conclusions, summary, of notes. In Gunwant Bhai's house, Hussain used to come often. And one day we met and he says, oh, ये बहुत गर्मी है, कैसे होता है? I said, क्या करें? तो ये मकान तुम ऐसे ही बनाते हो, गर्म हो जाते हो? मैंने कहा नहीं, हो सकता है, अंडरग्राउंड भी हो सकता है. हो सकता है, मैंने कहा हाँ. That is long back. Then 25 years later he comes back again. I used to meet him often. He would come home and this and that. Then he says, मुझे अभी वो हैदराबाद में किया, कलकत्ता में किया, मुझे यहाँ गैलरी बनाना है. And so I said, जगह तो मिलेगी, चलो देखते हैं. So we saw the thing and then as usual he had a press conference and he says, I'm going to make here a gallery. तो मैंने कहा नहीं, गैलरी क्यों बनाएंगे, अंडरग्राउंड बनाएंगे, गुफा बना देंगे. तो बोलते हाँ गुफा अच्छा है, करो गुफा करेंगे. But I said, I'm going to challenge you, you can't paint. You will have to invent something. I said, you can only invent because you have the ability to invent. So I said, I'm going to challenge myself and I'll challenge you.
When everything was complete, when I say these outer surface, with beautiful, there must be something. And why not have a snake like, make it more, sensuous and everything. Because all those they're like a breast of the earth, So, and a little like a snake entwined of that. So I got up and I drew just freehand like that. Without showing the face, and you see the snake going on. Otherwise it would be a pretty thing. So this gave a little,
When I made a model, I shook the model. I said, I don't like going straight. So these things became like that, And then I said, that's how it should be. So the thrust changed, that it was designed on a computer. So first time in my life or anywhere, as I know, a completely sustainable building. This is saucers. Black saucers I got made, 10,000 for Cobra. So the myth became here integrated part of the whole story.
His own personal experiences would have also, I think, contributed. And he was constantly traveling, constantly sketching, looking at places in India and abroad. There is a very open-minded approach to architecture, whether it is in India or elsewhere. But whatever he was impressed and inspired by somehow remained as something in his memory, and which has affected a lot of the work later. So that we can see from the late 70s onwards, Doshi trying to create a distinctive language which takes of the best of both his masters, but is his own.
Now this architecture, particularly, I was telling Doshi, this is a miracle. And why is it not repeating? He says, it's just because it was a miracle. Because you must get a client and a function that is not defined. Function is not defined. There is a gallery to meditate. Now galleries, you just go to see things. But here in this gallery, you can meditate over things like that.
If you meet a person, there are various ways you can greet the person. You may shake hand, you will say namaskara, or you may embrace. So his building, you'll find all these four phenomena. See Indology building, It's a landscape and it just stands out there. I'll say it just does namaskara or something like that. See, I am here, It's virtually shake hand. I mean, see landscape and, the kind of building, just meeting each other, September again goes back. It doesn't enter the mystery. But if you see a Sangha, and particularly the Gufa, I think this building is completely rooted into the, into the ground, And virtually it's like a tree, it's drawing its nourishment from inside, it's just growing. That was kind of embracing, that building really embraces the, it's showing this tremendous intimacy. It's a virtual marriage between, the land and the building. So I think this is all, it doesn't mean one is good against, there are three ways of meeting friends, meet in various ways.
This is like actually the real Varaha avatar. Varaha avatar is the one where the Vishnu goes down to find that Rakshasa, because Indra's wife was taken by him. And I remembered that and I said, I want to do that, so that we separate. So this goes below, no? So you get the sense.
Doshi's contribution cannot simply be said that he started an institution, because then you put that institution at par with any other institution that are there. Shantiniketan was also there. But this institution was very much rooted in the time and the place of its making. That is the Ahmedabad as it was emerging. And being so close to Ahmedabad in Baroda, we suddenly felt that there was a movement of which we wanted to be part of. And I remember my father, who was a freedom fighter, he went to jail with Gandhiji, and so telling us similarly that Gandhi had started a movement that we felt we wanted to be part of. You see, there's that kind of and that was just think 50s and early 60s, not very far from the independence movement.
I would like to take you from a path which normally people are not supposed to travel, or they don't travel. This is a straight way to go, this one is another way to go. The whole idea is, this jungle has been made by us. Before it was all barren. So we talk about architecture. I think architecture is a matter of transformation. Transformation of all odd situations into a favorable condition. All these mounds were made by me standing on the rooftop there.
You see, there are these three daughters, and the son, is the architecture school, the sept, So in some ways, in the sense that, you see everything is in a way brought back to that, fulcrum, or brought back to that, center, epicenter, which I think is, an orientation of the family in certain ways.
So it was not only a decision on paper, it was not decision on program, it was not a decision with material alone, it is not a decision talking about climate, it is also decision with people, their behavior and the attitude, and all tied in a spatial way. whenever I work, I become that. I had become a student, a good student and a mischievous student. I was a bad teacher and a good teacher. I was a lazy fellow. Then I was a good director and I said, let me have a play also. So in everything I have played at two ends. You come back and you design a school here and you say you are a director, you have to build, you have to teach, and the teachers here may be there and may not be there. How do you catch hold of a teacher? He must be visible, so you can stand in the balcony and call him. And that main space becomes where everybody gathers and goes. And then you look at Indian movies and you say, I want this staircase so children can play. So that's my childhood, that you play around the tree, so here they can go like this, then come back. So there's 1 and 2. When you make it shape like this, suddenly the lower basement changes. So those things began to happen, and then I said, I will have no doors. In fact, if you go there in that concrete, there's a cut. There were supposed to be 2 doors. I said, why keep a door at all? We don't need a door, because in Philadelphia, in St. Louis, I wrote that architecture is to open doors, not one but many. And now I am in presence of Khan. Khan has come here to design IIM, and I was drawing the School of Architecture campus. And he looks at that drawing in the office and he says, but am I not supposed to do this building that you called me? I said, no, you are going to do this big campus, and that is why I called you. Because he did not sign the papers, I signed on his behalf. And I wrote back also on Kasturbai's behalf. I was working on both. So then I told him about the IIM, but then when he was there, he talked about precision, lack of reduction of vagueness. So how do you do a classroom, a studio? So there are many sketches of Corbusier's about the studio and what not. You don't know, you want to get north light, south breeze, so climate is there already. You have a structure. But when you make an angle, how do you make an angle? And I was thinking of Khan. So I was then influenced by Khan on the structural clarity. But articulation is Corbusier's. It's a marriage between them. That staircase is Corbusier, the gargoyle is Corbusier, the concrete and brick is Corbusier, but attitude is Khan's. I mean, it's a very interesting, because I have no compunction, I used to draw like Corbusier, sign like him. When I was with Khan in his office, I was trying to draw like Khan. Why not? You are an acting, you do this, so I will do that. So you have to know how to fuse this.
Corbusier was very, very important. But I think, frankly, a distance from Corbusier is also very important. Or whether it's Corbusier or Khan or Frank Lloyd Wright or Mies, it seems to me. And if you listen to Bach, Bach learnt everything he knew as a child by transcribing. You know that? He transcribed earlier great composers. Later on, he became Bach because he could distance himself from that. In fact, there's a famous story that his uncle was so angry with him because at night he used to climb up and transcribe this. He wasn't allowed to play these complicated pieces. And he tore up the book and punished the child. And this Wanda Landowska was a great harpsichordist. She says, too late, she said, under the ring. She said, in the very act of transcribing, the child had learned everything he needed to know about that music. The roots of a tree gather all the water in the soil. So, it's very important to learn that and move on.
I remembered Picasso, he looked at everybody's drawings, but in the end he transformed them totally. So I said, I am a damn good fellow in copying. I can now change beyond and do something else. So this is how I did.
Every single student of this school in the first 8 or 10 years had a bond with Doshi that I have not seen in between student-teacher relationship. I would not be totally wrong if I would say that in the first 5 to 6 years, he knew every student and his father's name and what his father was doing. And those parents would call him at 12 at night saying their child has not returned, and Doshi would go to the school, find them. Or if he is not in the school, he would send somebody to find that person and do that. So there is no surprise that we all felt like we were his children. So that he never differentiated. His family was much larger than his family. And I think if we have to really look at Doshi, and I look at Doshi, and everybody talks about him as an architect and assesses him as an architect, his architectural work, I find that architecture, from my eyes, is a part of him, but not as significant part as what Doshi as a whole is. That as a human being, as a teacher, both are to me as important as his architecture, and his contribution in both these other fields is so enormous, and which will never be judged other than by people like us who would revere him, whether we agree or disagree with him. But he is on a pedestal for us as a teacher and as a human being. I have not seen anything more closely than his house, and I have seen it for last 42 years. Change, adapt, readapt, alter, and there are some constants in that house that have a quality of timelessness that you can't really find in most projects, not just his, but most projects of contemporary Indian architecture.
My mother-in-law, who was with us for 38 years, so many things I learned from her. Humility, simplicity, very simple life. When she came here and she lived with us, everything was with her, the keys, but when she passed away, in the cupboard there was nothing of her. There was only one small suitcase, black, with 5 saris and 5 blouses and 5 underwears plus. She was fantastic. So one learns, all the time, and I think that's what makes the family. This is an Indian way of sitting, and there is a storage here. And then this is the tray. So this is what it is. So sitting is there, so I sit here with Scott, I squat here. I sit like this, always. I enjoy doing this. So I have Indian style, and other people have the Western style, so it combines both the worlds. If you are here, you are completely private, you see the garden, and I am not disturbed by any visitors. But look at the gardens. I have diary from 57. 67, even 1966, 95.
Wow.
And then there are these all kinds of collections, no? Wow, these children, no? My grandchildren were there. See, this is Manisha's drawing. People forget that one has to have a very small but a very nice place for children from the age 1. It changes their life totally. They become human. They become sensitive, they become compassionate, and they will never hurt anybody. And they will be still alive.
Whenever there was any exhibition or music concert or anything, he used to say, just don't go to school, but come and see all these things. And I think he's a great father.
I mean, he understands the pulse of his children, like he knows, whenever we are not in a mood or when we have a mood, he will realize immediately.
And till today, my daughters are married, but till today, he is always with us. Every day we talk to him.
These windows actually open like this, okay? So advantages are that if you are sitting here, you get the garden. When I see these birds and animals here, I think this is all God's grace, that I am sitting here. So that's why the monkeys are allowed and everybody is allowed. And incidentally, then we allow friends.
Well, I think I'd like to really congratulate Doshi for all you've done. And first of all to the school and all the things we've been discussing, but also to reach 80 years old. That's a great achievement, and to do it with all these things thriving, including your children and grandchildren. That's wonderful.
I spend all my time, even now and whatnot. I think actually credit goes to my wife mostly. Otherwise I would be like anybody else, quick money and all that. Thank God, she wanted once upon a time to go to Bombay, and we did not go, but she doesn't repent anymore. Because she...
to Bombay?
Yeah, in the beginning only, because she belongs to Ahmedabad. But then now, she knows Bombay and other places, she says it's not good to go anywhere. It's better to be here, quiet place. But no, I think... but I tell you one thing. Human being, by nature, is a compassionate, lovable animal. Highly sophisticated.
Actually, Corbusier has played an important part in this meeting. Because of his building, he came to Ahmedabad to supervise. He was in Chandigarh, and he decided to come to supervise this building. And my brother is a friend of Shodhan, and he's a chemical engineer. So they used to meet how to paint and what this. And my brother introduced me to Doshi, and we used to meet very often, and then we decided to get married.
Yeah, yesterday my mother was not well, and I went straight from the airport to spend a night with them. And at 11 o'clock at night, he was doing each and everything for my mother, giving her water, giving her medicine, giving her food. If my mother wears a new sari, he notices and he said, "Oh, what a beautiful sari, you are looking so beautiful." He has time for each and everything, for each of us. Every wedding I do, I am not bothered about the client, I am bothered about my father. He says pass, pass. If he says fail, it's fail to me. I think we are just blessed to have him. I mean, it's just, must be some past lives karma that we are born here.
So thanks, Radhika.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
And yeah, you are all of us are very fortunate that we get a chance to be with you.
No, and an outsider, I mean, I see hundreds of students feeling so blessed. So you can imagine how, we must be feeling as all the time. I mean, it's just fantastic. I mean, he would babysit my children if I have a meeting. I mean, he would do anything. I don't know how many, I mean, I'm sure other parents also do it, I mean, but he always had time, And I think, one thing which I really remember is all my childhood, we would get up with the music. Even today, I got up with the music in the morning. He got up maybe at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. The music is on 24 hours, and he opened the door, and it is on. And he would specially make, put the music when I go to spend the night, the one I like. In the morning he would get up and put the music. But it's every day we would get up with the music throughout our life. And I would order him. I would be sleeping. I would say, Papa, put this music, and I would lie down for half an hour, listen to the music and get up. I mean, really pampered. And people used to say that you are spoiling your daughters. And he says, love cannot spoil anybody, and I have 3 princes.
Future and past. I think if you look at this monument, you always wonder how come that these people had these ideas of the scale, the size, and even the kind of elaboration. No? There is a joy of working. There is something to do with that you love things to see. You come back and you visit, you touch your hand, you can sit places. How come we don't think about this public realm? We have no public realm at all. We don't talk about people, communities rejoicing. We don't have urban development at all. Actually, that place, there are these steps which goes down and they go down to the water. That's for the elephants to come. But where are the communities gone? Neighborhoods are not there. And not only that, but there are no museums, there are no civic spaces, there are no institutions which inspire you. Cultural, social, economic activities have to be clustered. And they become the focus of our development. Then everything will spread. If we make a developer aware that you are doing this, but 10% of your money, of your space, of your buildings should be made into institutions. But if he says no, we succumb. We are constantly succumbing. He says, you don't bother about what is going to happen outside my property. You will say, look, I am not bothered about neighbor. You just do me what I want. So we are not professionals at all. We are lachar, no? We are actually submissive. An architect has even a greater responsibility. Then what happens? Parents are not aware, society is not aware, we are not aware, newspapers are not aware, and so what are we dependent on? So anybody comes here, we come to these ancient monuments and say, this is our heritage. So what shall we say about it? What is our heritage, present heritage? What have you contributed to contemporary heritage? Show me one example. One example you show me. It's not there because you think the architects are not powerful. But because they are not doing, nobody is listening to them because they have nothing to do with society at large. See, it's a beautiful wall, huh? The kind of transparency you get from here, you see? You get this plus that plus this.
Frames, yeah.
Huh?
Like frames, series of frames.
So, eventually, all over the country, in India, except these such monuments, nothing will be there, no trace. We will have only roads, for cars, parking, hawkers, because that's how we eat our days, enjoy our celebration, entertainment of cheap type. And rooms which are shelters, which may be luxurious, but that's all because we want to be now alone, isolated, enjoy yourself, and so we don't talk about society. Socially relevant architecture, I don't think that we have anymore. I don't mean to say that we cannot have a better house. But when you just step out of the house and get into the entrance and go to the street, what kind of street is there? Can my children walk and go in 2 minutes to a park? Can they see something there and learn and come back? Can the family go there and say, oh, it's wonderful, I learned something more today. I enjoyed my time. So what do? They go back and they have a computer screen, laptop, and television. What do you have on television? When you show these things, you show as heritage, but that's all. We don't talk about saying, all right, now, gentlemen, here is our new heritage. Not expensive, idea-wise. Now, you think to collect water is expensive? To create with the light and shadow and sun and just show people the play of volumes and sculptures and music going on together and dance, is it expensive? If things are good, people will come and dance. But if they are not there, they won't dance. So we will have a Konark festival, a Khajuraho festival, Sarkhej festival. So I think future is because we as professionals are so much involved in our day-to-day mundane survival. So we are not at all talking. But we are just surviving. Institution building is gone. Look at the Indian Institute of Architects, look at the Council of Architecture, fighting against each other. Doing what? You see the schools and look at the kind of teachers you get. What do? And the teachers are talking, the parents are there, students are there. Who is telling what? And we only talk about, only say, how do we do for a developer today? What can we say? How can you not have glass in the building? Because you are not convinced. The client never says that I don't like it. If you bring a client here, you think he will not like it. And then if you add glass, nobody will say, but there is something to do with beauty which comes by subtle nuances of volumes and surfaces. Look at the skyline, now. Look at the scales. It's not the big, it's not the monumental, it's not the size at all. Nothing is there talked about. We just talk about this is the price, this is the value, this is what I do in this much time. What will happen to an acrobat in the middle of the rope? What will you do? He will, and the most interesting part is, there is something in each one of us which finds a way out. That is the only time you are in contact with your inner core, absolutely inner core. And that core will only take you, because your thoughts have closed. Your thoughts have closed, your body is not there, nothing is there. You are that time totally absent. And suddenly things will happen. Even in the worst crisis, which was the Diamond Bush time, when they called me an incompetent person and whatnot, there was a committee of 20 people always shouting, screaming, not for me alone. They wanted to even have a morcha here, one board member. Then one board member says, why not sue you, I said, okay, you go ahead. So there were movements, and then when I agreed that I will let go almost 3 crores of rupees, I had never seen any money, and I was in a debt. So 8-10 months, there was no staff here. I asked all these people to go. I said, look, I'll give you another 6 months. You settle yourself. Even though I had no money. Some jobs came, something happened, it survived. We changed the arrangements and made table in the middle with few computers, hardly anybody, not knowing what will happen next month. That happened before also, but this was very, very bad. In the peak of a career, you find nothing. See, karma is something that you can't stop. There is a prarabdha, the destiny is there, then there is a runanubandha. There is a relationship which you have to complete. So, there must be some relationship between us of some other time. That's why you are here and I am here. And we are settling that account. And unless that account is settled, you cannot go away. So either you owe me or I owe you, or we met something, we committed, we are fulfilling. So I had to go and listen to those abuses, because I must have abused them sometime. Or I must have treated them the way they are treating me now. So I just get what I had paid them earlier. And I have an absolute belief in this. Nothing happens by chance. It's all planned, and not planned now, it is planned long ago. Otherwise, why should you get an idea out of everybody else to think that you want to make a movie and then you get Prem here, and he happens to come at that time, then you say, oh, it is good that he is there, so things are happening. There is some connection somewhere. You can't find it, best is to accept it gracefully and complete the transaction without any arguments. Otherwise your bank balance will become debit again. Karma balance debit. See, you have to behave your way, I have to behave my way. And if we can understand that, we will be very close friends, because you will appreciate that I have accepted you as you are, and I will accept that you have accepted me as I am. It's like a journey in a train, and we are travelers. Because you don't know which station you will get off. You see, the life on this earth will be fulfilled, then the day will come to go. So before you go away, if you can clear your bank balance, you are better off. If you don't, you will come back again to pay back that debt. You are a small fragment, minuscule, almost negligible in this existence. Just do what you think is right and leave it there. Results are not your business. If you're honest, you have to be, first thing is, you are not doing for others. Deep inside, you must feel happy doing it, you must be enjoying it, and you must go home and say, my God, I did something nice, I am so happy. That's all I think. Finally you have money, you have car, you have everything. So then what? Then what? Yesterday I was telling somebody, that look, it is because of Corbusier that I am here, and therefore I am doing whatever I can. He says, what you are thinking, that's not the way to think. You must have also done something. I said, no. He says, without your doing, I said, that is your notion of understanding. My notion is not there. At this moment, the words are coming by itself. Suddenly, the thing can stop, no? These fingers may not move. What are we talking? Money came, that went away. Why have possessions? So nothing is on my name, except that house that I have, because that was also my father-in-law's insistence. But otherwise, I don't want anything.